Discovery, and the shuttle has cleared the tower.
Do we have a show for you? Hey guys, I'm your host Tripp with Bret Huotari. I'm messing things up on the day. Happy freaking Monday, right? Happy freaking Monday. Hey Bret, how you doing, man?
Is that gonna be your signature sign on now?
It has to be, man.
I kind of like it.
I'm kind of owning it, you know. Because I was watching this meme, and like this girl was at a fast food restaurant. This girl was like, bibbity babbity doo.
Oh,
what can I do for you? Click clackety duck. This is what the fuck I want.
Yeah, see that one?
That was hysterical. Well, hey guys, just want to thank the listeners. First off, thank you guys for liking, subscribing, and sharing this to all your friends. We had our best podcast day we've ever had this weekend. All thanks to you guys in about over 25 different countries in the past 3 days. So thank you guys so much for supporting us. Every little bit helps. Please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, family, anyone you guys can. We're here to give you guys content that we want to hear. Stuff that we think that's relevant and pertinent to health and wellness, as well as have really great guests come on that have the unique perspective for them. So thank you guys for bearing with us. And today we got a really cool episode. We're going to be talking about youth sports. Bret here, he's a baseball trainer here at Legends, as well as here at Ascend Performance Training. He's been doing that for a while now, and we're just going to pick his brain real quick and talk about youth sports, how we should be training our kids, some things that he's learned while he's been in the industry, as well as hopefully get you guys prepared for spring sports, as well as these fall sports that are kind of ramping up right now.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out. Thanks, Tripp. I want to give a shout out to, let's see, might be spiking a little bit, but to go back and listen to Shayna Unger, I forget. Ungerleider. I'm sorry, Shayna. Don't hate me for butchering your last name.
He was in Florida too long.
Yeah, I was. She was on the podcast. She's a lifestyle enrichment director, and from Rosemark, one of the facilities we work with, and the podcast was great. So go back and listen to that. It's fantastic. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about baseball and youth sports and stuff like that.
So why don't you give a little background about your baseball experience, and then what kind of led you up to training today?
Yeah, so I've been training. I started playing baseball when I was 5 or 6. Eventually got on a traveling team when I was 8. Played tournaments every weekend. Went to baseball camps every single weekend. I've been to hundreds of baseball camps with you name it. Private lessons, did all that. Played through high school, played through college. Played after that as well in some leagues and stuff like that. Tried out for the Cincinnati Reds. And now I am an instructor at Legends Baseball Academy, which is fantastic. I have about 14 or 15 private lessons, and then I was coaching a couple of teams over the winter as well.
So I want to back up real quick to your time in youth sports.
Mm-hmm.
One of the questions I want to ask you is what is something that would have made your experience in youth baseball better, and what have you not changed? Because I know we've been talking a lot about how youth sports have been portrayed, especially with if you guys go back and listen to Lance Vieta for that podcast, it's very kind of similar. But we are going to kind of go more into the actual training or whatnot. So as a kid, what was like really good for you that you really loved, and what would you have changed?
Well, that's a super good question. I loved competing. I loved that the coaches were hard on us, and that winning was important, and that discipline was important, and the lessons that were all learned from really pushing yourself. It wasn't just like show up, have fun, and make friends. That's not what we were about, at least growing up. It was like, hey, there's a purpose why we're here. We want to be the best. I love that. I appreciate that competition a lot. I think the thing that could have changed from when I was a kid would probably have been, it's for you. Like, it's not for us coaches. Like, we don't get anything from this. This isn't about us, us coaches winning. It's about you guys. And I think just tying it more into like life skills.
Okay.
Like, hey, if you want to play professionally, here's an opportunity. You can. If you want to go to college and get, your whole thing paid for, it's going to open a lot of doors for you if you don't want it. So more just like communicating to us, speaking to us on the same level, not speaking down to us like we're just minions, like we're part of the system, like just speaking to us on a more like friend level, like, hey guys, here's some opportunities if you're good. If that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah. I'm getting out of youth, getting into college. What was the biggest differences you saw going from high school baseball to even D2, which had to have been a big step? right? What was it? What was the differences? How was training different? How did you see it?
Yeah, I mean, it was totally different. Different atmosphere. High school, you're young, you're figuring out what you're doing with your life, what college you're going to. Once you get to college, you kind of have made that decision. You know what your talent pool is. You kind of have an idea of what your next step may or may not be. You're finding out where you fit in with your teammates, and are you the best? Are you in the middle of the pack? Are you one of the bench warmers, who are very important to the team? Just because you're not the best. So yeah, just kind of like falling into that new reality of, is this team, how serious does this team take the games? Is it intense? Are we just getting to get just kind of from high school to college, the difference definitely changes for everybody. It changed for me too.
So after high school, there's probably a point where you probably could have gone to a farm league or college. What was that choice for you, and why'd you do it?
Well, my story is a little bit unique. I looking back on it now, I didn't care. I was burnt out.
Yeah.
I was sick of it. So my experience was like, so in 2008, I was voted the MVP of my team by all the players. And I was not very nice to a lot of them. I was overly competitive, and I put people down. I was young and immature and stupid, and I still, on top of people disliking me as an individual because of how cocky I still was voted the MVP. What was the question?
It was about choosing farm league or college. And why you chose to go to college instead of pursuing that farm.
Oh yeah, well I wanted an education. I mean,
Yeah.
at that point I had no idea what I was doing. There was no thought process. Everything was my story is unique, totally unique from other people probably who have gone through it. I have no clue what I was doing with my life. Oh, college, okay, great. I can play baseball. I'm good at it. Okay, great.
So. You obviously have a lot of experience. I mean, tons, from the youth aspect to high school to college, and now you're training kids. Mm-hmm. So what are some important things you've learned in your experience that you're applying to the kids right now that's maybe a little different approach than you had when you're growing up? Yeah.
So this is their journey. This is about what they want to do. If they're excited about baseball and they like and they enjoy getting better at it and they see a future in it, we have those conversations. We talk about, hey, do you want to play in high school? Do you want to play in college? I talk about that stuff regularly with them. And really it's up to them. It's up to, if they continue to invest effort and energy and they care about it, it's a reciprocal relationship between myself and them, right? And we have those conversations. I didn't quite have that experience when I was growing up. Mine was, hey, you do it or you don't. It was a very, different situation. So now with me training, I'm trying to give the kids an opportunity to make their own choices. Hey, do I love this sport? Is this something I want to invest energy into? Because it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It is a ton of work for kids, and they have to be excited about it. If they're not excited about it, eventually they're going to quit, and I'd rather them quit and find something and this may be controversial, but I'd rather a kid quit and find something he loves to do.
Yeah.
I'd rather not make him suffer through the amount of intensity and, and focus and energy and effort putting into something that you don't truly love and that you're not, putting your heart into.
Well, let's say one of your kids loves baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Loves baseball. How do you foster that love and drive for the sport? And what's your process look like when you're onboarding these kids?
That's a good question. That's a super good question. I number one, conversations. I straight up ask them.
Just getting to know them, kind of.
Getting to know them. Hey, what's school like? What's this like? Getting to know them. And then I am asking a lot of questions. Do you, and I get a sense of if they enjoy it or not.
You can kind of tell, right?
Yeah. I get a sense of if they enjoy it or not. And then, I take them through pretty much the same process. I see what they have to work on, what skill sets they don't have, breaking the swing down, what position they play. Okay, breaking the the swing down into its own components, and the pitching components. If they're a pitcher, breaking it down into fundamentals for fielding, fundamentals for their mindset, how they think, and then figure out from there. I can figure out what they're lacking, what they want to work on, and then start to build upon that. But it all comes from whether or not they want to get better at this. I'm never going to waste my energy on somebody who doesn't want to get better at this. And so if there's a continued invested energy in them putting it into baseball, which 90% of the kids I see now continue to love it, then we'll start to build a program on what they're not good at.
So what's your intake process for kids? Do you have do you do biomechanical assessments? Do you have a sheet that you work with? Do you do everything visually? What's your process look like for intake?
A lot of it's mental.
A lot of it's mental.
Yeah, there's nothing formal on it at all. I follow my own process. I have them. I set up the tee work. They're hitting off the tee. I see how they're standing. I see where their swing's at. I can get an idea within the first, 60 seconds of what skill level a kid's at. And I guess in my brain, I probably have a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being hey, this kid's ready for the pro, he's going to be a professional athlete. And 1 being he doesn't know how to throw, he doesn't know how to catch. And then I kind of grade them in my mind oh, this person's a 3 or a 2 or a 2.5 or whatever. And then I know, what drills I need to set up, and then see how they respond to those drills. If they don't respond to those drills, which happens, then I have to break down the segment of, okay, I have to come up with new drills. So then you get an idea, and then you do the process with their mental, see, what kind of, are they a high performer? Are they, what mentally they're at? And then you kind of start to draw a picture, a training plan, a training regimen. But I'm a very basic bones kind of guy. I get them throwing right away. I get them fielding right away. I get them hitting right away. I get them pitching right away. I don't overcoach. I let them do their thing. And then I'll give them one tip. I'll go, okay, here's one thing you can work on rather than the whole thing. And sometimes I'll have to break it down and go, all right, let me explain exactly what we're doing with this drill. And here's the purpose of it. And I'll do that. So
let's say there's a kid who really wants to start baseball, right? He's talked to his parents hey, I want to start baseball. As a team, the parents and the kid, what are the steps that they should be taking to start baseball, right? Hey, listen, I'm interested in it. Do I start with a youth league? Do I start with a personal one-on-one trainer? What's the best way to approach this in your opinion?
One trainer, youth league. I guess I don't know if there is one best way to approach it. I think you can probably look up a baseball facility, come to Legends or go to anywhere, look up a baseball facility, say you want a free consultation, meet with somebody, have them take your son or daughter through a workout, and then make a recommendation. And then probably see if the kid likes it. And then there's tons of teams out there. You can get on Facebook. There's lots of teams that are looking for players. There's also rec league. So I guess figuring out what your kid wants to use this for, start them in a rec league, and then if they excel, then get them in a traveling team if they want to do it, if they're excited about it, and they see a future in it.
So when you're building these programs, stuff like that, there has to be some homework, right? Has to be stuff done at home, whatnot. What's one of the biggest things you see as an issue when you're programming that's at home for these kids? Maybe parents are buying the wrong kind of foods. They're not keeping them on a sleep regimen. What are one of the biggest things you see through youth sports that's an issue and whatnot?
Mindset. So basically the sentiments that are echoed through the kid's head, like what the parents are saying to the kid, to their son or daughter about practice, oh, you got to work harder, how they speak about what they're doing about this training session is very important. If I'll give you an example. Like if a mom or a dad is in a lesson and they're trying to talk to the kid during the lesson or saying anything at all, anything, that's a huge problem. Because then you have, more than one chef in the kitchen. So really, when it comes down to homework, if you have a great instructor, let the instructor do the instructing. You just give positive reinforcement, not negative ever. Don't ever be negative. There's no need to be negative. And then, I always give homework. I'm always saying, I recap every session at the end. Hey, we worked on your front foot. We worked on balance. Here's what I want you to do at home this week. Every time.
Well, I mean, it's so important because, I'm seeing that kind of stuff all the time, with even my football clients of, it's the home that's the biggest issue. It's not coming in and working out or getting the workout in. It's, making sure that these habits are changing at home, which are so vital to not only the sport that we're playing, but also to our overall health and wellness, like our longevity's sake, especially when we're training and trying to fight all these extremism ideas, like you got to do keto or you only have the egg whites and everything like that. We have to cut through that BS as trainers, to try to help try to help the home life out, because if the home life is out of balance, then the sport's going to be out of balance.
Yeah, we got to get through. Catherine always says it from through the game. She always says that we got to get to the parents. We got to get to the parents. Like, sports is an incredible way. Number one, you can get your college paid for free. I'm confident that if you, I mean, this is such a cocky statement, but if you bring a 10-year-old, a 9-year-old to me who wants to play baseball, I can 100% get him to play college ball. Now, there's a select number of kids where, just don't have that talent. And I right away, I'll say, but for the mass majority, almost all this stuff is taught and learned. It's all mechanics. So, hey, do you want to get your college paid for? Like, you could. And it's funny is a lot of parents put limiting. I've talked to parents before that go, my kids, we're just trying to get him to play high school baseball. He's got no shot at college. And it floors me because that mindset, you're passing that on to your son. Yep. You're passing that on to your daughter every time. Anything that you think will come out with what you say when you're tired. Anything that you truly believe, like my son's never going to play college, right? Or he's like that will come out in the way you speak to them, right? So I think the biggest thing is really working with the parents is your son or daughter could 100% play collegiate sports if they are nurtured the right way, if they're passionate about it, if they're given positive reinforcement, through great coaching.
Well, I know we kind of touched on this a little bit about, you were kind of burnt out with baseball and whatnot. What are some things that parents could do when they're noticing that their kids are burning out in a sport?
Yeah.
What are some things that they could do to maybe save the kid from leaving the sport, maybe taking a break, refinding that love or passion for the sport again? Is there any maybe advice you could have for parents or kids dealing with that?
Shit, man, I'm not a parent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I almost would feel bad pretending to be a parent and pretending to know what that's like to hey, here are some things. But the kid's burnt out, talk to him. Everything is healthy communication. The kids got to understand, hey, these sports are like an analogy to life. Like if you work hard in these sports, like you're going to have a job someday, or you're going to have a career or a family someday. Like these are the principles: discipline, hard work, consistency, integrity, loyalty, teamwork. All these things that you're learning through sports are going to be transferred to your job and to your relationships. It's not about going professional, right? Now, if you focus on them, you can, go to college. You can do all these other things. So I think that the biggest thing is, like, if you're seeing burnout, talk to your kids about it. This isn't your life. This isn't the parents' life to go to tell the kids the answers. The parents have to listen to the answers. Like, they have to ask questions. That's the biggest thing. Like I said, I'm not a parent. I don't want to overstep my boundaries and come out here and just say some crap that isn't true. But the one thing I do know is that this is the kid's life. This is the kid's sport. You're doing everything. You're paying the money. You're working hard so that you can afford for your kids to have this opportunity. Maybe you didn't get it as a kid, and now your kid has it. Don't overcoach him, right? Don't make him burn out. Most of the time, the reason kids burn out is because of the parents.
And we talked a little bit about that in the first podcast with Lance Vieta back in season 1 about how parents are almost treating these sports like a job for the kids, and they're dropping out at record-breaking times. They're doing travel sports for soccer, then the next day it's baseball, the next day it's wrestling, and it could be a lot. It's like a job for a kid, and I totally understand the importance of sports in general, about learning life lessons, discipline, knowing how your body works, getting in a good routine. But there is this factor of burnout, and this factor of that they just want to stop doing it once they get to college or what have you. And I think you're right about us having an open-ended conversation with our kids. Again, I'm not a parent either, but I can only assume for what I learned from being on the other end, being a kid with youth sports, is that communication is so important. Being open, like, hey, listen, like, I do not like this sport. I'd like to try something else. But I do think that every kid should be at least one sport.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're entering the age now. I mean, I call it the post-Tiger Woods age. Tiger Woods was that athlete where, like, his dad, trained him from the age of 2, right? And then he became the greatest athlete that ever lived. Like, training wasn't a thing back before that. Like, if you look at, like, any of the sports back then, like especially in golf for sure, but like there wasn't this strict training regimen. So only into the late 90s and into the 2000s did you start to see the training. So this is a new thing, from the kids now. And now advanced training is everywhere. There's kids training facilities everywhere. So now it's a new thing. So we're looking at an industry developing now.
Well, for you guys that are maybe new listeners and whatnot, so here at Ascend, we do genetic-based wellness using science, biomechanical assessment, blood work, family medical history. So with this process that we've created, Bret, where do you see that taking this? Maybe burnt out, maybe frustrated with the position that they're in. How do you see these genetics and these quantitative measurements helping out with these certain issues that we see in youth sports?
Well, I think it's more than just the genetics. I think it's everything that we're doing. I think it's all of our partnerships. It's all of our, it's your love and your passion for the numbers. You've brought in this like crazy passion for the numbers, but that's for us, right? Like I wouldn't want a client to get on the scale every day and be looking at it going, oh, I'm, 0.7 heavier today. Like I must have did something wrong. I don't want them to do that. I want us to go, hey, they're 0.7 or whatever, whatever micromanaging level we put our constrictions at, like, oh, here's our genetic test, here's how we're going to modulate a program, etc. Those are all for us as the professionals. We don't want...
I hope you guys didn't hear that. I may or may not have cut the rug while I was...
Oh, my God.
Just ripped ass. So if you're in baseball, you're going to hear a lot of that.
Oh, dear.
I was going to be quiet. That guy's been eating a whole bunch more. I can't stop farting.
He's eating healthy. I prepped him meals today. What was I saying? I don't know. You just distracted.
Baseball, genetics, and
oh yeah. Those are the numbers are for us. We handle those. But I see the mentality. This technique's getting better. And I see the mental performance as the biggest thing that is changing our industry is now adding the mental performance, the communication to kids. I think we are infinitely smarter than the last generation, intellectually and from an emotionally intellectual perspective. We're able to communicate our ideas on an emotional perspective far greater than our parents were. Our parents were descendants of...
it's the analog generation,
Yeah, of the World War II. So World War II, baby boomers, our parents, all the people right now that are between 60 and 72, 73, like those people all grew up with parents that raised in a particular manner. we grew up with our parents that raised in a particular manner. So what we're seeing now is we're much more effective communicators on a whole. We communicate way more effectively with kids. We understand our emotions way better. We're able to communicate those emotions. So now, over the next 10 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you're going to see the butterfly effect of how this communication affects, how kids process these new techniques.
Absolutely love it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
There's a lot of. I went back to World War II, but to explain how our mentality and talking to kids differently about what sports are actually for, why you should try hard, why should a kid care about this, right? They just want to come and hang and have fun. I get it. We all want to have fun as a kid. I totally get it. That was me. But if you try really hard and you focus on discipline, then, you have opportunities that open up for you in life. And I see kids now. I got kids now that I'm like, this dude's going to be an absolute D1 athlete. Like he's got a shot to play pro ball. At the age of 11, I'm already like, just because I can see the acceleration. I see the acceleration of like picking up, absorbing ideas at like an insane level.
And it's really like what I love that you kind of explained is it's a perspective shift, right? Back in the day, like, when we were kids, like parents focused on the physical stuff because that's what they knew. I mean, the talk about mental challenges, mental handicaps, mental disease was still very like new even in the early 2000s. We were just kind of touching on that thing, and you're right. It's been a complete shift. I just hope it doesn't go like extreme one way like it kind of has been with certain things. And we live in a very extremist society of like, it's either yes or no. There's no in the middle.
What do you mean by like you hope it doesn't go in the extreme?
Well, like just, a good example is like the debate for the eggs. Is the egg yolk or egg white the best?
God, people are crazy with that.
It's
stuff.
extremism.
It's so annoying.
I hope that we come together as a community, especially with youth sports, and come and find a middle ground for everybody where, we're talking about the mental stuff, we're talking about the physical stuff, we're talking about the emotional stuff, we're getting kids tested, we're doing all the right things to make sure that we're fostering the right things for them,
Yeah, I mean, it's so simple. I mean, are you sleeping well? No, you're not. Okay, well, are you on your phone at night before bed? Yeah, you are. Okay, get off your phone before bed. Do you drink tea? No. Okay, drink tea with this before it. Are you stretching every day? No. Start stretching. Like these are all, are you talking to your kid? Like these are all things that like how to grow. Like, what are you eating during the day? Are you eating Starbucks, which we've all had? Are you having, like, okay, that's crap energy. That's just shit energy. Like, are you making grains? Are you making pastas? Are you making, like, so these are simple things to us, but they're so important.
But other people aren't thinking about them, though. That's the thing is that's our job to shed that light to people and making sure that they're making the right goals in the house and on the field.
Yeah. We do it for each other. We're not perfect. Just because I'm preaching about like eating healthy, meditate, just because I'm preaching doesn't mean I'm perfect. But luckily, I made a decision a long time ago to dedicate the discipline to doing this regularly. I don't think about, am I going to work out today? It's Monday. I fucking work out on Monday.
Yeah.
I don't think about it. I don't, it's all this stuff. So and that's what we want to do with the kids. That's what we want to do with, the sports you're in is communicate those ideas to your kids. Hey, like these are great things. Not only do you have the opportunity to get things paid for in the future, you're gonna have better relationships. You're gonna be better at your job, and there's all these benefits. Now, if you don't want that, cool. Let's not do it.
But you're also accepting the risk down the road, though.
Yes.
Right. You're accepting. Listen, like down the road, I could have a heart attack. I could get hurt here.
Yeah.
You have to accept that risk of listen. If I don't want to do it, this is what's probably going to happen.
I've spoken with somebody, and I know we don't have much time left, but I've spoken with somebody, and as long as people have the opportunity to hear you say it, Tripp. So like if you present to someone, you go, hey, listen, yeah, I'm looking at your blood work, which you've done a million times. You've looked at blood work, and how many times have you had a conversation with somebody where you've been like, I'm really concerned about this number. I'm concerned about this number. Now, here are the repercussions. If this is high, what's going to happen? And you kind of go into it, right? And if they say, hey, I'm still going to, I'm sorry, I'm going to, at least, like, don't you feel like you at least gave them that opportunity?
Yeah, they had an opportunity for an honest conversation, whether they took that or not. That's an adult.
Yeah.
Right? That's the idea of an adult. Like, hey, listen, do with the information you want to. You're not a child anymore.
Even a kid, though. Like, even if you take a kid and you go, hey, listen, and they're like 11, 10, 12, whatever, and you go, hey, listen, like and you tell it to them that same way, at least they have an idea to go, later on in life, they're like, man, I wish I would have played sports. Be like, well, somebody communicated it very well to me, gave me the option, okay, communicated exactly what was going to happen. I mean, I'm speaking some anecdotally from my experience. I wish I had that.
Yeah.
I wish I had someone that said, hey, listen, Bret, like if you you got a talent at baseball, if you focus on this, like you have opportunities that no one else is going to have, but this is on you. It's not on me. If you want it, cool.
It's about fostering that relationship, right? In the positive aspects. Just like you said, like that mindset at home, like, oh, well, I don't think he's going to make it to college or whatever. And that reverberates.
Dude, you said the word fostering. It's about fostering. It's about like, oh, I noticed something has the ability to grow. What do I need to do? Do I need to put water? Like, just do the things that require it to grow. If you don't know what that are, come and talk to us. Come to ascendperformancetraining.com. Plug.
Meaningless plug. I know we're kind of getting the end here. Bret, thank you so much for your insight talking about baseball.
Thank
you guys can find him at ascendperformancetraining.com. Got some blog posts up there as well as legends. If you guys are interested in baseball training, interested in any kind of fitness training, make sure you guys are hitting us up. We got some pretty cool deals going on right now, as well as making sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and sharing, guys. This podcast is just going to get bigger. The more people that are coming on, the bigger guests that we can get on. So make sure you guys are hitting us up. If you guys have guests you might think that you guys like to have us on, so please, feel free to reach out. Let's build this community together. We absolutely love the fact that we're able to do this for our job and able to talk to you guys as well as again build this community. It's I'm really grateful for it.
Yeah, great conversation. I love it. Let's keep it going.
All right, guys. You guys have a good one. We will see you later this week. Happy April Happy April Fool's Day.
Happy Easter late.
Yeah, the bunny's already over with. It's April Fool's Day.
Oh, okay. April Fools. See you guys later. Take care. Have fun. We'll catch you on the next episode.